Hello people of the internet, YouTube, it's Redhead Boo here again as promised because of the horrendous situation which we are all in at the minute with coronavirus and all of that drama. But this time of year for me usually is when I would be going to concerts or events which have had to be cancelled so far, so which is a bit, it's not the best, it's not ideal, but it's what has to happen, I guess. So I thought that I would do a video about my favourite concerts and events, well, my top 10, and originally I did plan a top 10, but I realised that there were a few which were like equally as good as one I've previously put down for each number. So some of them might have 2, so there might be a bit more than 10, but still, it'll still be fun hopefully. I've written them all down in this book, and as well I've got some questions, and then obviously I'm going to explain about each event, each concert, and I'm not 100% sure on all of the events, like when they happened, so if I can't remember roughly what year or what date it was or where I was sat, for instance, because I'm not going to remember all that, then I apologise if the information is not 100% correct or I forget about a certain thing or whatever. But yeah, I just think I'll get started now. So at number 10 is the X Factor tour, and this happened in, I think it was March 2018, because it was when The Beast from the East came, and quite a few concerts then had to be cancelled, but X Factor tour was still on, so that was really good. I'd always wanted to go to X Factor tour, and I'd never been before, and loads of people have been who said it's really good, it's really fun. And at this show I went to, it was a bit different because they let each show vote on the winner of each night, and it was really cool. So the questions that I'm going to be answering for each are: who did you go with, where did you sit, and why was this concert in the top 10, and just explain about the concert or event. So I went with my friend called Jade. Like we both liked the acts from that year previously, so we decided to go. We booked tickets around December, November, well, I booked tickets around November, December time in 2017, and I think if I can remember some of the acts, I think it was Sean and Connor Price, Raksu, Cook Kelvins, Grace, I can't remember, Grace Davies, oh, I can't remember all of their names. Sorry, I can't remember anymore. But it was really, really fun and really good. I think I was floor, so sat on the floor, on the seats obviously. I think I was block D or B, and I was row E or F, or was I even row G? Actually, I think I was block E, no, yeah, block E, row G. So we had a good view of like the stage, and because there was 2 stages that each act would switch between, which was quite cool. Why was the concert in my top 10? It's in my top 10 because it was really fun. It was very different to any concert I'd been to before, so I think that's why, because it was unique and really fun, so definitely, yeah. So at number 9 is The Wanted at Ripley Castle. Now I think this one was, well, I know it was 2012 because it was the last Sunday before I went on a school trip abroad, and we sort of went to like celebrate our last weekend in the UK before going away. And I believe it was on the 14th of July 2012. It was really warm, I remember. It was a really nice day. And I do remember, like, so this one does involve a story because, yeah, it involves a story. So basically, I was never really a massive fan of The Wanted. Like, my sister was a bigger fan at the time than I was, and all my friends liked them. And I remember my sister or mum got a text from my dad which basically said, "That boy band you like, The Wanted, I've seen that they're coming to Ripley Castle in the summer." And I was a bit like, why would they come here? I don't really want to go. But my sister was like, I want to go. My mum wanted to go. And I remember I told my 2 best friends at school, who were huge fans of them, and they were like, oh my god, we should go. But I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of them. So I was umming and ahhing about whether or not to go. I did eventually give in and say, look, if you guys want to go, then I'll come too. It can be my first ever concert. I just want to see what it's all about. And anyway, I did go, and I did really, really enjoy it. Like, they were so good, and I don't know why I didn't like them, because after that night I fell in love with The Wanted. So yeah. So who did I go with? I went with my mum, my sister, and my 2 friends from school, Jess and Lauren. Where did you sit? Well, as it was an outdoors gig, we didn't sit, but we took, like, you could take camping chairs into, because it was like an outdoor venue, you could take camping chairs with you. So we took camping chairs and just sat down before obviously it all began, had a barbecue for food, and it was really good. We stood, and we did actually get to see some of the members of The Wanted playing football with Lawson, who at the time supported them. And we stood in the standing area, and we went down just before like support started, and to be fair, we were quite close to the front, so it was really good. Why is this concert in my top 10? I think because that concert made me learn that I loved going to concerts, and then I just carried on throughout my life basically. And yeah, I just loved the whole atmosphere. It was really good, loved it. Yeah, that's all I can really say about that one. Okay, so at number 8 is North East Live 2013. Obviously it was in 2013, and I believe this was the 22nd of June 2013. I'll give a backstory because this one is basically a backstory. So Capital FM used to host, well, they still do, they host Summertime Ball, but in 2013 there was this announcement that they were going to be doing something like Summertime Ball, but they were going to be doing it basically in Sunderland at the Stadium of Light, and it was going to be called North East Live. And basically Capital hosted it, and they got like, I think it was about 12 or 10 different acts, and it was basically on all day. It was my first ever like experience of a festival all day, and it was really, really good. Some of the acts were Stussy, Amelia Lily, Little Mix, Union J, The Vamps, The Wanted, JLS, Conor Maynard, Stussy, Rita Ora. I think that was all. I can't quite remember anyone else going. It was so much fun, like, and because, well, who did I go with? I went with my mum, and the same person who came to Wanted was Lauren. So me, my friend Lauren and my mum went. It was so much fun, like, I'm not gonna lie, I loved it. It was really, really good. And because obviously I became a fan of The Wanted thanks to the Ripley Castle show, I mainly went because I wanted to see them again and because I knew a lot more of their music. And yeah, it was just really fun, just amazing. I loved it. We had standing in general admission, and then we had well, if you were standing, there were these unreserved seats, so you could go and basically sit down if you wanted a seat. So I think it was during Lawson's set we actually went to sit down because we'd just been standing up all day and we just wanted a little break. So we just sat down in between acts, and then when Little Mix and people like The Wanted were on, we just stood up and danced and sang, and yeah, it was really fun. Why was this concert in my top 10? It's in my top 10 because, well, I just liked seeing The Wanted again. It was really fun, and because they performed my all-time favourite Wanted song, which is Heart Vacancy, and it was at that time that they'd just released Walks Like Rihanna, and obviously again that's another one of my favourites, so yeah, I loved it. Number 7 was an audience with Union J in Leeds. So Union J were, well, they still are, even though they're technically, well, I don't know if they're not together, I don't really know what's going on, but they were one of my all-time favourite boy bands before, well, it went like JLS, The Wanted, Union J, The Vamps, because that was like the order that they came into the industry. I loved them from since I saw them on X Factor. I was a massive fan, loved them all. Previously I'd met them as well, and then they announced that they were doing like a special intimate show for a couple of fans. Well, I say a couple of fans, like 100 odd. And basically it was held at Leeds The Wardrobe nightclub, and it was so weird, but an amazing day. It was a few days after I turned 18 as well, so that was really special. Yeah, so who did you go with? I went by myself. Well, that is sort of a lie. I didn't go by myself because someone who I knew was going, called Dan, who's a few years older than me. He used to help out in some of my lessons in high school, so I knew who he was, he knew who I was, and basically when I went to join the queue, because I didn't know where the wardrobe was, he was there and he was like, oh, come join me because I don't want you waiting on your own. Yeah, and we met quite a few people that day, which was really cool. Really nice to get to know people who you've never seen before. It was a really, really good experience for me because I think, yeah, that was the first time I ever had like a official VIP meet and greet before. It was really, really fun. Like, they were all so nice. And basically you got, with the ticket, you got like a bag of merch, you got obviously the show, a VIP meet and greet with the boys after their performance, a Q&A so you could ask questions to them. Yeah, so where did you sit? Again, it was, as it was like a nightclub, it wasn't seated. First of all, I went down to like the floor area where the stage was. It was very cramped and I didn't really like it. So I saw that there was like this barrier at the side and there were a few fans there. So I decided to just go and stand along there, which was nice. Because we were still very close to the stage, like, it was really good. And why was this concert in my top 10? Well, obviously it was my first ever like official meet and greet that I'd ever done. But it was also special to me because it was like my first concert as an adult on my own as well, which was quite, I'm not gonna lie, it's quite scary, but it was also really fun. But one of my all-time favourite memories was during the Q&A, because I had a question and I really wanted to ask it. So every time the host came out on stage, he would like say, oh, does anyone have a question? And obviously they'd ask people close to the stage because they had a microphone so they could pass it to them. But because I was quite far away, they couldn't really hear my question. Well, not hear it, but they were like, they wouldn't know how to ask me to ask it. But Josh, one of the members of the band, he saw me with my hand up and he said, can you ask the girl over at the barrier with glasses on? And I was like, oh my god, it's me. And I was like, I'm going to be able to ask my own question to Union J. And the host was like, yeah, I've seen you with your hand up and I can see you really want to ask the boys a question. But because you're quite far away from the stage, would you be able to shout it? And yeah, I did have to shout it. A few of the members heard. I think Jamie, George and Josh heard it. I don't know about JJ. And I think, or was it Josh didn't hear? So they all had to basically repeat the question for me, which was nice. And then they all answered it, and it just, to this day, it made me feel really special because like Josh has been like, oh, I'm glad you got to ask the question because I could tell you really wanted to. And he was really nice. The boys were lovely. Really nice to just chat to them, meet them. And then I did like a video Q&A with JJ a few months after that, I think, and asked what he thought of that gig in particular, and he said it was really good because Leeds crowd tomorrow is really loud. And he said he was the actual one who said, oh, we've met a few times, haven't we? And I was like, oh my god, he actually remembers me. So it was really nice. Okay, so number 6 is the Vamps Four Corners Tour Harrogate. This concert was one of the best. Like, I don't know why I put it, actually I do know why I put it there and why not lower down. It was really good, but the only bad thing I'm going to say about it was the crowd weren't very good. Like, usually at Vamps gigs, when people have front row, they like hold out their hand for Brad to touch, but he basically had to get people to hold out their hand. Like, he'd put his hand out so people would then actually grab it rather than, and it just wasn't as loud as the Manchester date, which I also went to. But there are other reasons why I liked this one in particular, which I'll go into. So who did I go with? I went with Helen, one of my favourite concert mutual, basically. Lovely Helen. Where did you sit? So we were block C or block A? I think we were block, I'm gonna say C. Oh no, actually, I think we were block A. We were block A, row E. and because it was a weird venue, the front row was actually classed as row C in my block. So it went C, D, E, so on. So I was actually third row to the front. Yeah. So why was this concert in my top 10? This concert was in my top 10 because Harrogate's basically my hometown. Like, well, I live in Knaresborough, but it's like 10 minutes away from Harrogate. And I was shocked when I found out they were coming here because nobody, like, really famous has been here before. So I was a bit like, why would they come here? But it was so good. I was actually lucky enough to get VIP meet and greet as well. So I met them, and I was the first person to meet them that day. It's crazy. Like, the security guard was so nice. He was amazing because we queued up. Well, the security guard outside, we saw someone and we were like, do you know what time we can queue? And she said, if you come back at 3 o'clock, you can queue then. So we just sat on a bench near the venue, chatted, filmed a bit for the vlog, and then then at 3 o'clock on the dot, we literally went and got in the queue. We were put front first. So I was like, oh my god. And then when it got to checking in, we went in. Well, first of all, James McVeigh turned up, waved at us all, which was really nice. And then we all went in, and I needed a wee because it's me. I always need a wee. Whenever it comes to meeting the vamps, I always need the toilet. So I said to the people checking us in, is there any way I can go to the toilet before meet and greet starts? They said, yes, that's not a problem, just go to the toilet and then queue back up. Because Helen didn't need it, I went on my own, came back, or did we both go together? I can't remember, but some people got in front of us, but one of the security guards realised that we were actually first. So he said to me, he looked at me and went, you, come here. And I was a bit like, what have I done? What's going on? And he went, I noticed that you and your friend were always front of the VIP line, so you two stand near the escalator. And I was like, oh my god, does that mean we're going to be first to meet them? And he was like, yes, it does. And it was just, I was in shock. And then obviously in the concert I said that I was going to dab during all night, and I did. And because Conor Boyle wasn't actually performing in Harrogate, he was there though, he just wasn't performing. He stood at the side of the stage. I saw him, I knew he was there, but I also forgot he was there at the same time, so I dabbed and then just went crazy during all night because that's what I do, I just go mad. Anyway, he saw me, laughed, and he started filming me, and Helen tapped me on the shoulder, pointed to Conor, I looked in his direction, saw the camera, and I was like, oh my god. And I just went bright red, had to turn away from him because I was like, oh no, he's seen me. And then we had meet and greet the following day in Manchester. I brought it up and he was like, I remember you. It was just amazing. Yeah, that's why that concert was always going to be great for me. So number 5 is one of the ones where it's got 2 concerts. Well, yeah, 2 concerts. So the first one is Summertime Ball 2016. That concert for me was amazing. It was better than the one in 2015 because we were a lot closer, and the acts for me were a lot better, like Little Mix, the Vamps, Ariana, I think, Dizzy Rascal came as a surprise, Mike Posner, Flo Rida, Tiny Temper. Yeah, just to name a few. It was a really, really good year for acts that year. Who did I go with? I went with my mum. Where did you sit? Oh God. I think we were block 109, or was it? I think it was 109. Yeah. Why was this concert in your top 10? It was in my top 10 because, well, the atmosphere at Wembley is always amazing. I loved it, and yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I don't have much to say. Also at number 5 is the Leeds Summer Show at Millennium Square for the Vamps. This concert was amazing for me. Like, I loved it. So who did I go with? I went with Helen, Caitlin. Well, Caitlin's mum approached me and just said, Caitlin's not exactly 18 yet, so would she be able to join you and Helen and then just hang around with you at the concert and meet and greet? And I said, yes, that's completely fine. And we also met, well, that was the official first time I ever got a photo with Lexi, and it was amazing. Like, we all loved it, and it was just, we were like a squad, and oh, it was one of the best. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it. Where did you sit? Again, as it was an outdoors gig, we didn't sit down. We had Golden Circle because we had VIP, you got Golden Circle, and sorry, I'm gonna have a drink. That's better. Yeah, VIP for that date wasn't great. It wasn't very organised. The photographer didn't really say when he was ready to take the photos, so there's one of me looking away from the camera. But it's really cute because I get to stand next to Connor, so I was happy. Yeah, I was very happy with that. But it was also really good. I'm going to say why it made the top 10, because we actually got sound check experience, and I'd never had that with the Vamps before, and it was amazing. Really, really good. Loved it. So yes, so number 4 was Ollie Murs at York Racecourse. Who did I go with? I went with my friend Emily. Where did you sit? Again, as it was an outdoor summer gig, we weren't seated, we were standing. And somehow, I don't know how, we got barrier, which was amazing. I'd never been front row for Ollie Murs before, so I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that it was going to be a lot of fun. Really, really fun. So I'm going to say, why was this concert in my top 10? It's in my top 10 because I got interaction, which I'll never ever ever forget, ever. It was amazing. He was talking about his, well, ex-girlfriend at the time, how this song was one of her favourites before he sung it, and I started booing because obviously I was like, girlfriend, boo, as a joke, and he looked me dead in the eye and went, "Oh, don't worry, darling, we're not together anymore." And I was like, what? It was really, really fun. And then obviously, well, not obviously, he did a medley, which he pretty much always does whenever I see him live. And he did the song "That's the Way, Aha, Aha, I Like It." And one of the dances he used to do was "That's the Way, Aha, Aha." And because I'd seen him at Leeds Arena a few months before, I knew that song would be on the set list. So I did the dance, and we literally looked at each other and did it at the same time. And I was like, yes, winning. It was amazing. Yeah, so that's why that concert made the list. So number 3, we're getting into the top 3 now. So at number 3 is, again, this is 2 concerts because they were both special. So at number 3 is Disney on Ice 2019. I can't remember the name of the show, which one it was, but me and my friend went, Fiona, who's also a mad Disney fan, like me. Yeah. Where did we sit? We were front row. I think we were block B, row A. And I was seat 14, near the edge. So like, because Leeds Arena is quite small, the ice rink was like from there to about there. And because I was quite near the edge, I did manage to get a lot of interaction, which was good. This show made the list because, well, it made the list simply because at other Disney on Ice events I've been to, the interactions from like the main characters have always been aimed at children, and which is a bit annoying because it's like adults can like Disney too, like me. I love Disney, I'm not afraid to say it. And literally I was like, I want that interaction. So I was like, I'm going to go all out, I'm going to shout all of the characters who I want interaction off. And I'm so glad I did because it worked. I got, well, I've got 3 very, very good but very strange like interactions. One was off Donald Duck, who, if you don't know or don't watch my channel as often, he's my all-time favourite classical Disney character. He's just amazing. I love Donald. So I was like really happy that Donald was there, and he was just skating in front of me, and I was like, oh my god, Donald. He was amazing, and he kept on skating by me, obviously, as I worked out he would be. So I started like shouting him, and basically I was like, Donald, Donald, and he looked at me and waved at me, which was so cute. But I said, I love you, and he drew like a love heart and pointed at me, and I was like, love, true love, right there. I love Donald. I also got interaction from Minnie Mouse, which was so cute. Basically at the end of the event they all bow, and where I was there's like a platform or platoon, like a circle that one of the main characters stands on, and she skated up to it, stood on it, and was like waving at people in front of her, and then she turned around and I was like, Minnie! And she blew me a kiss, and I was like, oh my god. And I blew her a kiss back because she's adorable. I love Minnie. But the funniest, best memory I've got from this show was the interactions I had with the genie from Aladdin. Now, Aladdin is one of my all-time favourite Disney films. I love it. And the genie is my favourite character from Aladdin, and my favourite song from Aladdin is also Prince Ali. Now, during this performance of Prince Ali, the genie was just skating around, and I got told that during that song, the genie would choose one member of the audience who was female, an adult, quite young, and he would basically flirt with them during that song, like just do funny little things to them. And he chose me. It was one of the most surreal moments ever. Like, he would just keep skating over, and it basically just started with like friendly waving and just like call me. But I was like, I didn't realise it was at me at first, and I was like, no, that wasn't at me, no. And then I turned to my friend and was like, who was that at? And she went, it was you. And it was just, I don't know, words can't describe it, like it was so weird, but it was amazing, really, really good. And he just kept on like flexing his muscles leaning over, doing really girly waves, just staring at me. And I was like, oh genie, and then I started playing along and doing stuff back to him. It was hilarious, really, really funny. Yeah, that's why that show is at number 3. Also at number 3 is the Little Mix Summer Hits Tour at Bolton Stadium. This one was amazing. Who did I go with? I went with my mum. We were at Golden Circle, and I somehow managed to win a meet and greet with Raksu. So we met them. They were really, really nice. I'd never met them before. They were amazing. I loved them. And then the concert was just phenomenal. Like, I loved it. And because I was quite close, like, I didn't get a lot of interaction of the girls, but it was just amazing. Really, really good. Number 2 is the Vamps, but their 2017 tour. I think it was the Middle of the Night tour. Yeah, it was. This one for me is always going to be special. Like, I'm never ever gonna forget it, like, ever. It was amazing. I loved it. I think it was extra special, and I'll explain why. So who did I go with? I went with Kirsten, who I've not seen in so long, and I miss her so much. So if you're watching, Kirsten, love you so much. I hope to see you very, very soon. It's been too long. Mwah. It was the first time we ever met up, and we were like, we want to meet the Vamps together, because we were both quite shy. We'd never met them before, like, VIP, so I was like, I need to meet them with her because it'd be amazing. And it was the best experience of my life. Never gonna forget it. Where did you sit? Because we were VIP, we actually got Wow Pit included in our ticket. So I was standing in like the little pit in the stage, because like the stage was round and then there was like a middle bit, and we were in the middle of it. Well, people had always said to me, if you want the interaction, go to the back of Wow Pit. So that's what I did. I went to the back of Wow Pit, and it was so worth it. Really, really good. Why was this concert in your top 10? This concert is in my top 10 because it obviously was my first time ever having VIP with the Vamps, and because I got interaction from Connor, because I wore my long You're Not Connor ball top, and he started interacting with me in VIP with the top, because one of the photos he's actually pointing at the top, and yeah, because I got to stand next to him, which I'm so happy for because I love it, and to this day it's one of my favourite meet and greets ever with them, other than the Harrogate and Manchester one. But the interaction I got of him was during Somebody to You, and it was, they basically all walk, well, before the Vamps came on stage I saw them setting up a mic stand which was directly in front of me, and it was Connor's, and I was like, oh my god, he's going to be right in front of me, no way. I was freaking out. So he just interacted with me from the beginning, like it was amazing. He was incredible, and he came round to me and I was like, oh my god. So I started shouting at him like, Connor, Connor, and I put my hand out like to see if he'd do anything, not expecting anything back, and he grabbed my hand and I was like, okay, hi. So I was like screaming, going mad, and then a girl behind me said, you do know that he was trying to give you a guitar pick? And I dropped it on the floor, so I didn't get it, which I'm gutted about, but it's amazing, yeah. So, we are at the big one, number 1. Now, this concert is the most recent concert I've been to, last year, and there are so many reasons why this one had to get number 1. It just had to. So, the number 1 spot of my top 10 concerts goes to, drum roll please, Little Mix, LM5 tour, Leeds. It had to be this one, mainly because I was VIP. Obviously with Little Mix you don't get meet and greet with VIP, but what you do get is even better, in my opinion. It was amazing. So, who did I go with? I went with Helen, which was amazing. We'd been to see them at Manchester a few days before, which was incredible, so we knew every single song on the set list, every dance. We just needed to just big them up, so we were like, yes, we're gonna big them up as much as we can. And my god, I got so much interaction. I cannot describe how grateful I am to every single girl, but it was amazing, really really good, really enjoyed it. So where did we sit? Somehow, I don't know how, we got front row, centre stage. What? So I might even do like a front row experience video for this day because it was amazing. People ask me all the time, is it worth it? Yes, 100% worth it. I had the best time. Like, I vlogged it, but I didn't vlog too much because I just thought the girls are going to interact with me if I'm not filming. So I was like, I'm going to give them so much love, so much attention that they're going to love it. And the concert, my god, we even managed to meet Mae Muller, which was amazing. She was incredible, loved her. But yeah, as soon as the girls came on stage and they saw me going for it in salute, Perry was just like, yes, you go for it, girl. She just kept on like smiling. During Power, I got a smile. In fact, I think I got a smile or a bit of interaction in every single song, apart from Secret Love Song and The Cure. But I'm gonna do my top 3 interactions because there's just so many to choose from. So at number 3 is going to be, it's going to be a mixture. So Jade and Jessie both saw me like dancing. Well, in Joan of Arc I decided to learn the dance routine and do it with them, and it worked a treat. Jade loved it, and I did, because I got the flashing baton as well, I did the hey hey in Shout Out to My Ex, and Perry and Jade loved it and they were just happy. Jessie saw me so many times and smiled. Same with Jade, like she loved it. But I got a lot of interaction, not just from Perry, but from Leanne. And I do think Leanne is starting to become like my other favourite other than Perry. She was amazing. I love Leanne. I love her. And she was just amazing. She was lovely. And the best interactions I got with her are during Wings, Think About Us, and Woman's World. So the Wings one, Leanne was basically stood in front of me and they were doing the dance routine, like really fun. I was loving it. As always, I love Wings. And she was just giving it all like funky dancing, and when they did And They Can't Detain You, me and Leanne both pointed at each other. It was the best gosh darn minute of my life. I was like, oh my god, Leanne. And then in Think About Us, when they were going down into like the trapdoor thing, where they go down and get ready for the encore, Leanne was like blowing kisses to everyone on front row, and she blew a kiss to me, and instead of like freaking out, I calmly blew her one back, which made her like, oh. So that was really nice. I just wanted to make her happy and show her that she's appreciated, because her vocals live, amazing. Leanne, incredible. I just wanted to big her up so much. And then in Woman's World, she basically sang Woman's World to me, and because I was filming, she looked directly at the camera and sang it to me and then just smiled, and that was just the best. But my favourite interaction, I'm so glad I caught this one on camera. Didn't realise I was filming when it happened, and then I tried to do something back when it happened, but I couldn't because I was filming. I remember watching back all my videos from the night, and I just came across that one and I was like, I filmed it, oh my god. And it came from my favourite girl, Miss Perry Edwards. So all night I was getting so much love from her, every single song, as I said, so much love. And she was just loving me, loving my energy. I was loving hers. I was bigging her up as always, like, you can't just not big her up. You can't. And I was just like, yes, Perry, you go for it. And every single moment I cheered for her, she would smile. And like, when they were doing the whole dance break in Touch, I was like, I've got to do something for her to do something for me at the end of the show. and she just kept on like smiling. As soon as they finished the touch, she was just smiling at me constantly, and then they bowed. I saw her put her hand to her mouth, and I was like, wait, what? So she put her hand to her mouth and she blew me the biggest kiss at the camera I've ever seen. And I was just like, oh my god, that wasn't me. And I'm so grateful for that one kiss. I was like, oh my god. But anyway guys, gee, this is a long video. Didn't realise that this video would be as long as it is. I'm sorry if it's very long, but hopefully it can be a nice watch during coronavirus. So, just want to say a huge thank you to any of my friends who I've mentioned in this video. Big love and shout outs to Helen, Kirsten, Caitlin, Lexi. I love you all so much. And yeah. But anyway guys, I will try and come back to you with another video very soon. So, this is Redhead Boo signing off. Bye guys!